Join us on Patreon and become part of our journey to uncover history's untold stories. Your support helps us create in-depth content, bring hidden narratives to life, and keep history alive for everyone.
Throughout history, the question of Jesus' physical appearance has fascinated and intrigued scholars, theologians, and laypeople alike. His image has been molded by centuries of cultural interpretations, theological doctrines, and artistic traditions. For many, the image of Jesus has been solidified through depictions in Renaissance art and Western Christian iconography. A pale-skinned man with flowing light brown or blonde hair and gentle European features. But as historical and cultural discussions evolve, so too does the scrutiny of these portrayals. One of the most controversial yet increasingly discussed topics is the notion that Jesus was not only non-European but possibly black. This idea has sparked debates about historical accuracy, cultural identity, and the enduring impact of colonialism on religious representation. To explore this question, one must begin by examining the historical, cultural, and geographic context of Jesus' life. Born in the ancient town of Bethlehem in Judea, modern-day Israel, Jesus was a Jewish man living in the Middle East during the Roman Empire's occupation of the region. This geographical setting, a crossroads of African, Asian, and Mediterranean influences, already suggests a complexity to his appearance that challenges simplistic assumptions. The New Testament, the primary source for Jesus' life and teachings, offers little direct description of his physical appearance. This absence has left his image open to interpretation. However, the context provided by the Bible, combined with historical and archaeological evidence, offers important clues. The people of Judea in the 1st century CE were Semitic, with physical characteristics that likely included brown skin, dark hair, and other features common to the region's inhabitants. These traits align with a Middle Eastern appearance, rather than the European features often attributed to Jesus in Western art. Yet, the discussion does not end there. The question of Jesus' racial identity becomes particularly significant when viewed through the lens of African history and the diaspora. For centuries, African and African-descended communities have sought to reclaim religious narratives that align with their histories and experiences. In this context, the image of a black Jesus serves not only as a potential historical correction, but also as a powerful symbol of liberation, resistance, and solidarity. One of the strongest arguments for a black Jesus lies in the cultural and genetic diversity of the ancient Near East. Judea was not an isolated region. It was deeply interconnected with surrounding areas, including North Africa. Ancient trade routes, migrations, and military campaigns facilitated a blending of populations. As a result, the genetic pool of the region would have reflected a variety of physical characteristics, some of which overlapped with those found in African populations. The Bible itself provides hints of these connections. Figures such as Moses, who is described as marrying a Cushite woman, likely from the region of modern-day Sudan or Ethiopia, highlight the historical ties between the Israelites and Africa. Moreover, early Christian art and writings provide further evidence of diverse interpretations of Jesus' appearance. In the first few centuries after Jesus' death, Christianity spread across the Roman Empire, reaching parts of Africa, the Middle East, and Europe. Early Christian communities often depicted Jesus in ways that reflected their own cultures. In regions like Ethiopia and Egypt, for instance, early icons and manuscripts portrayed Jesus and other biblical figures with dark skin. The Ethiopian Orthodox Church, one of the oldest Christian communities in the world, has long depicted Jesus as a dark-skinned man, emphasizing the deep-rooted connection between African Christianity and the life of Jesus. The colonial era, however, marked a significant shift in these portrayals. European imperial powers used Christianity as a tool for conquest, spreading their own interpretations of religious figures to assert dominance over colonized peoples. The image of a white Jesus became a symbol of European cultural and spiritual authority, erasing centuries of diverse representations. This imposition of whiteness onto Jesus has had profound implications, shaping global perceptions of Christianity and marginalizing non-European contributions to its history. Revisiting the possibility of a black Jesus is not merely an academic exercise. It is a challenge to centuries of systemic erasure and misrepresentation. For many in the African diaspora, this question resonates deeply with issues of identity, empowerment, and justice. Recognizing the diversity of early Christianity and its roots in the global South disrupts the narrative of Christianity as a European religion, reclaiming it as a faith with a rich, multicultural history. Furthermore, the possibility of a Black Jesus invites broader reflections on the role of race in religious and societal hierarchies. Why does the image of Jesus matter so much? For many, it is because this image embodies ideals of divinity, morality, and humanity. A white Jesus has often been used to justify systems of oppression, from slavery to segregation, by positioning whiteness as divine and superior. Conversely, a Black Jesus offers a counter-narrative, one that affirms the dignity and worth of marginalized communities. Contemporary scholarship also sheds light on this debate. Advances in archaeology, genetics, and historical analysis provide a more nuanced understanding of the ancient world. Studies of ancient Judean populations suggest a wide range of phenotypes, influenced by centuries of interaction with neighboring regions. While it is impossible to determine Jesus' exact appearance, these findings support the notion that he would have looked more like a modern Middle Eastern or North African individual than the fair-skinned figure often depicted in Western art. The theological implications of Jesus' appearance are equally profound. Christianity teaches that Jesus came to embody the fullness of humanity, transcending divisions of race, class, and nationality. Yet, the way he has been portrayed historically reflects the biases and power structures of those in control. By reimagining Jesus through diverse cultural lenses, believers can recover a more inclusive and universal vision of his message. In African American communities, the image of a Black Jesus has played a particularly significant role in movements for civil rights and social justice. Leaders such as Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X invoke the image of Jesus as a figure of resistance against oppression. Black liberation theology, a movement that emerged in the 20th century, explicitly connects Jesus' life and teachings to the struggles of the oppressed. In this context, a Black Jesus symbolizes hope, resilience, and the fight for equality. Yet, the idea of a Black Jesus is not without its critics. Some argue that emphasizing Jesus' racial identity risks reducing his universal message to a particular cultural framework. Others contend that such discussions distract from the core of his teachings. However, these critiques often overlook the fact that the image of a white Jesus has already been deeply politicized, used to reinforce specific power dynamics. Reclaiming Jesus as Black or non-European is not about exclusion, but about restoring balance and acknowledging historical realities. In recent years, popular culture has begun to reflect these discussions. Films, television shows, and books have increasingly depicted Jesus in ways that challenge traditional Western portrayals. These representations invite audiences to rethink their assumptions and engage with the diverse cultural heritage of Christianity. Ultimately, the question of whether Jesus was Black cannot be definitively answered. Historical evidence suggests that he was a Middle Eastern Jew with physical traits reflective of that region's diversity. However, the significance of this question lies not in pinpointing an exact skin color, but in challenging the narratives that have shaped religious and cultural identities for centuries. Acknowledging the possibility of a Black Jesus opens the door to a richer, more inclusive understanding of history and faith. As these conversations continue, they remind us of the power of imagery and representation. The way we depict figures like Jesus has profound implications for how we see ourselves and each other. By embracing the complexity and diversity of his story, we can move closer to a vision of humanity that reflects the unity and love at the heart of his teachings.